Hello, homeschool moms. It has been a while since I have been over here on YouTube, and that's actually because I have been focusing a lot of my time and attention and energy into my new podcast, which is the Homeschool Mom Podcast. So if you have not checked out the Homeschool Mom Podcast, I encourage you to do so. I'm sharing lots of homeschool encouragement and tips over there. So you can find it on most podcast platforms, as well as over on my website at janelleknutson.com. Just look for the little podcast icon. Now, I thought it would be fun to come on here on YouTube and share with you some of the curriculum that we are going to be using next year. This is curriculum all piled up over here that we have gotten in the mail this last week. This is not all of the curriculum that we're using, though. Some of the curriculum that we'll be using for next year I already had, and so I need to go out into our garage and open up our tubs and pull out some of the curriculum that I already had that we'll be using this next year. There's still curriculum that I need to purchase because, as you know, homeschool curriculum, purchasing it all at once can be a little pricey, so I'm trying to space it out over the next couple months this summer. But this is stuff that just came in the mail, and I'm so excited about it. I thought I'm just going to hop on here and share it with you. Now, if you want to know exactly what curriculum I am using for each of my kids for the different grades, I already did a blog post on that. I think it's called our Large Family Homeschool Curriculum Choices for what's the upcoming school year, 2021 to 2022. Are we already there yet? That is just crazy to me. But I did a blog post sharing what I am using for my kindergartner, second grader, let's see what else we have, fifth grader, seventh grader, ninth grader, and 11th grader. So kindergarten through high school. All of those curriculum choices are up on my blog. I also did a separate blog post for high school. And I thought that would be helpful for you, for those of you who are homeschooling a high schooler. I have my 9th grade and 11th grade curriculum choices up there. But more importantly, what I did was I wrote the course title that I'm going to list on their transcript, along with the credit that they'll be getting for that course. And then I listed the curriculum that we'll be using. And so hopefully that will help give you an idea of different ways to, how do I put this? Just pick titles, I guess, course titles for on the transcript. So hopefully that will be helpful to you. So I will link to those two posts down below in the description if you want to go see exactly what I'm doing for all of the grades, kindergarten through 12th grade. But let's jump in and look at the curriculum that came in the mail. So first up on the top here is Foundations A from Logic of English. I'm going to be using this with my kindergartner. I actually already have the teacher's manual and all the other components to this curriculum. I just needed a new student workbook, so I purchased that for my kindergartner. Next up here, let's see if I can grab all of this, is biology. One of my high school students is going to be taking biology, and we are using biology from Master Books. So this is the textbook. Then we have the teacher guide, and then I went ahead and purchased this microscope book. We are going to be doing this in a co-op setting. The author of this curriculum is actually going to be teaching my kid, my daughter, and some other kids from our church this course. So I'm so excited about that. There's already a microscope available with all the slides, so I didn't have to purchase that. I did purchase a lab kit. That is packed away in a place so that I don't have to think about the fact that I have a dead frog and other dead animals sitting in my house. But we didn't necessarily need this book because we do have the microscope. I wanted to share this with you though, because this is a great option for a lot of homeschool families who can't afford a microscope and all of the slides that go with it. Instead of doing the microscope and slides, this book has all of the pictures that you need for your student to do those labs without actually getting a microscope. So I purchased this just to have on hand, because even when you have a microscope, sometimes you can't actually see what you're supposed to see in the microscope. And I thought this would just be a fun book to look through for my younger kids as well. There's a lot of cool pictures in here. So next up here is another curriculum from Master Books. This is their Introduction to Logic course. I actually did a curriculum review blog post on this, and so you can check that out on my blog. I will link it down below. I'm going to be teaching this in a co-op setting, so I had to order a couple more of these for the students that were my students that were taking the class, and I wanted to have one for myself. But this is the textbook, and then it comes with the teacher's guide with lesson plans in there and all the student worksheets and quizzes and tests and all of that. So we're going to be using that in a co-op setting. All right, next up in this pile is cultural geography. This is from BJU Press. I have a student that's going to be taking this using the distance learning program from BJU Press. So that means that there's going to be video lessons that go along with this. This is the textbook and the student activity guide. There's also handouts that go along with it, and video lesson guides and other things, but just thought I'd have these on hand to hold up for you. So we're going to be doing cultural geography. This is a year-long high school level course. Next up is another high school level course from BJU Press. That is physics. And here's the textbook and the lab manual that comes with it. I actually gave my daughter the choice of 3 different physics curriculums to choose from, and she wanted to go with the BJU Press distance learning program. She's been using this the last few years for science, and it has just been a really good fit for her. So we're going to be doing physics through BJU distance learning. Okay, my pile over here is, hopefully they stay on the couch and don't fall over. All right, next up, I'm going to pull this pile right here. This is a big stack of literature from Memoria Press. And I have done, I think, at least one video about Memoria Press literature guides. Here's some more literature guides from Memoria Press. It's a great option for literature. The way that we use them is that I pick, or I have my students pick, or sometimes I pick a couple different books and literature guides for them to use for literature for the year, and then the rest of the year they're just reading other books. They're not doing literature guides with them, they're just reading other books. But here's some of the literature guides that we're doing. The first one here is poetry for the grammar stage. So this is actually a poetry curriculum. It comes with the anthology book, which is all of the poems. Oops, there goes the pile. It keeps going. I'll pick those up in a minute. But this is, what was I saying? This is the anthology. So this is all the poems are in here that they would read. Then there's a student guide where they're going to rewrite the poem. They're going to be looking up grammar and analyzing the poem and all of that. And then there is a teacher's guide as well. The teacher's guides are really in the Memoria Press literature guides. The teacher's guides are really just the student guides with the answers in them. So it has all the answers to the questions and stuff that are in here. This curriculum you could do in 1 year, but it's actually meant to do over several years, where you would pick different poems from here and work on them throughout the year over several, what am I trying to say? What am I trying to say here? It has been a long time since I've done YouTube. You would pick a couple poems from here to do each year, and you'd spread it out over several years. That is what I was trying to say. And so we are going to do that. We'll be doing, I'm hoping about 1/3 of it to maybe 1/2 of it this year, but we'll be mixing it in with some of the other literature guides that are now on my floor. So let me pick those up and show those to you. All right, I have them in a big mess on my lap here, so let's see if I can match all the books and the guides and the teacher's guides and all of that up together. So we'll just start with what's on top. This is the Adventures of Robin Hood. This is the teacher's guide. And then we have the book, and somewhere in here should be the student guide. So one of my kids is going to be reading The Adventures of Robin Hood. They'll be reading the book, they'll be working through the student guide, and then I will have the answer key right there. All right, the next one that I have here is Robinson Crusoe. So of course we also have the teacher's guide, and here we go. Here is the student guide that they would be working through. So this is another one of the many options of literature guides that Memoria Press has. So I will leave a link to all of the Memoria Press literature guides if you want to check out all of the options that they have. Another one that we're going to be doing, that one of my kids is going to be doing, is My Side of the Mountain. And so here is the student guide for that. And there should be a teacher's guide here somewhere. Here is the teacher's guide. Might help if I put it in front, right? Okay, there's the teacher's guide for My Side of the Mountain. And then another one that one of the kids is going to be doing is Homer Price. And so again, we've got a student guide that goes with that and a teacher guide. And so like I said, I let my kids pick a couple of these to use. So some kids are going to be doing 3 to 4 throughout the year. Some of them are just going to be doing 2. And then they'll be reading other books in between. My kids that are in 5th and 7th grade will also be going through the poetry as well. And so again, if you want to know exactly what everybody's using for literature, you can go check that out on my blog post, that have the curriculum choices that we're doing. All right, the last literature guide from Memoria Press is a high school level literature guide, and it is Pride and Prejudice. And so here is the teacher's guide right here, and this is the student workbook, or student book. Now, if you notice, this is a little bit differently than, let me see if I can find it, than this student guide. And if you go back to YouTube and you watch my Memoria Press literature guide kind of look in the book, I walk you through some of the literature guides and what they look like and how they're set up. Those are for the elementary and middle school age. High school is set up differently, so maybe I'll have to do a separate look in the book for that, but it's set up differently. So I just want to let you know that it's definitely more rigorous, definitely makes them think more and challenges them more in their thinking and understanding of literature. So this is just one option for the high school level. Again, I will link to the Memoria Press website down below in the description if you want to check out more of their literature guides. Here is the last stack of curriculum that I got in the mail this past week. Again, this is not all the curriculum we're using. Like I said, I think a big chunk of my 5th graders curriculum is yet to come in the mail from BJU Press, and I have stuff still to order. I've got stuff to pull out from my tubs in the garage of stuff that I'm just going to reuse. But this is the last batch of stuff that came in the mail, and so let's take a look at what we got here. The first thing is United States history, and I believe this is what my 11th grader is doing. So this is from BJU Press. We are going to be doing the distance learning videos for this course. And again, BJU Press distance learning has just worked so well for my family, and just taking a load and a weight off of me, still allowing us to homeschool. My kids get a great education, biblical worldview education, but I don't have to do as much of the work, especially when you're teaching 6 kids, which I will have this year, and at a high school level. And so she's going to be doing United States history. Like I said, I think this is the 11th grade history curriculum from BJU. Next up over here is Algebra 1. One of my students is going to be doing Algebra 1, again, from BJU with their distance learning program. I also have somebody bonked myself in the head there. Also have somebody doing Algebra 2 as well. Both of these are from BJU Press through their distance learning program. I gave both of my high schoolers the option of using several different high school level math courses or curriculum for Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. Both of them wanted to do the BJU Press distance learning math for this current coming school year, because it has just worked so well for them in the last couple years. They're able to get video instruction. They're able to read what they need to read in the book if maybe the video instruction didn't make sense. It's just been a good fit for our family for the high school year. So Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. Next is World Studies. This is also from BJU Press, and we will be using the distance learning program for this as well. I believe Miss Ingersoll teaches this course, which all of my kids have loved Miss Ingersoll. Every course that they've taken from her, they have just really enjoyed. So I'm excited that we will be able to have her for World Studies. I believe this is 7th grade curriculum. Next up is Math 2. I've got little ones as well, and so we're going to be doing 2nd grade math with BJU Press. This is the work text page, and then these are the manipulatives, and this is something that I got questions about recently. Is somebody was asking about if there were manipulatives with the BJU Press math curriculum. And yes, there is for the younger ages. It comes in a packet like this. These are cardstock. Okay, so these pages are all cardstock, and you're going to punch all of these out and sort them however you want. I put mine in baggies. But there's a lot of different ways to sort them. So you'll just punch those out, and then your kids can use these manipulatives as they're learning math. The great thing about this is included. So this is not extra. You're not buying the math curriculum and then you're having to buy all these extra manipulatives and try to figure out, do I need them? Do I not need them? It's just included with it. So I love that. This is again with the distance learning program. So there's handouts. I think we still have, I'm looking over here because there's piles of stuff over here, but I think it's handouts. There's the video lesson guide. So there's some other things that go with this as well. All right, just a few more things here. We have, this is Heritage Studies 2, obviously for my second grader. And this is also through BJU Press, and we are doing their distance learning program. I have found that doing history and science from BJU through the distance learning program has been a really great fit for our family. Might not work for every family, but it's worked really well for us, especially as I continue adding more and more children to our mix. So we're going to be doing second grade Heritage Studies from BJU. We're also going to be doing second grade science from BJU with their distance learning program as well. So this is the textbook, and this is the activity manual with just fun things for them to do related to science. I always get questions about, what's the reading level like? What does it look like inside? So it's very colorful and not a whole lot of reading on each page. So just perfect for a second grader. It looks like I have two more things here to share with you. The first one is K-5 Math from BJU Press. Again, doing this through the distance learning program. I think this is one that I did in video where I gave you a look inside of it. If so, I will leave that link down below. If not, I apologize for telling you that I did a video, but I'm pretty certain I did a video on K-5 Math and what's included and what it looks like inside and what it covers. So this is the student workbook that they will work through. So colorful, fun for them to do, and then it also comes with their manipulatives packet. That again is cardstock, and you will just punch those all out and sort them for your student, and then they will use those as they learn all of the little math concepts through this curriculum. Last up here is American literature. This is through BJU Press as well. This is, I think, what my 11th grader is doing, because I think she's doing United States history. Yes, she's doing United States history. So American literature to go along with it. And so she'll be working through that curriculum as well. So that's just a little look at what came in the mail this week. Again, like I said, still stuff to order, still stuff needs to arrive, still got to pull out stuff from my tubs in the garage. I know it seems like a lot. That's because I got 6 kids. So there's a lot of kids to homeschool. I hope to be back here on YouTube in the future. For right now, I'm going to focus my time and energy on my new podcast. If you have not listened to the Homeschool Mom podcast yet, I would love for you to go check it out and give it a listen and let me know what you think. You can find it on most podcast platforms, or just go to janelleknutson.com/podcast and all the episodes will be there. I hope that you guys have a wonderful summer. I hope that you are just as excited as I am about new curriculum and a new school year coming up. I'd love to hear from you in the comments about what curriculum you're going to be using, how this past year went for you with in your homeschool journey, what you're excited about next year. Let's chat down in the comments.